Okay. Hi, everybody. I see people joining. Let me know where you're joining from. I know I have some local folks joining. Do I have people from other states as well? Ellen. Hi, Ellen. I'm so glad you figured out how to get in. So I got 40 some people signed up and there's 12 joined. So I'll just softly start. Hi, Loretta from Canada and Massachusetts. Fun. Yeah, I'm in St. Paul, Minnesota. I guess that's not necessarily obvious. And from the UK. Wow, it's got to be late in the UK, Evie. I'm so glad you're here. Fantastic. Good. St. Paul, 1 a.m., Evie. Okay. Well, when we get to the actual practice of really checking in and being in the body, you'll have to see if you can stay awake for that. Hi. Good. So, I'm originally from Denmark, from New Mexico. Hi, Melinda. I'm so glad you're here. Well, I'm originally from Copenhagen, Denmark, where you're late if you start at 7:01. So I am going to start us off, and what I'm hoping to do tonight is both an introduction to what emotional triggers are, but that's going to be the smaller portion of what we're doing together, and the bigger portion is actual practice. So I'm Maria Tosa. I'm the author of Heal What Hurts, and those of you that know me from Insight Timer have likely done some Heal What Hurts practices, maybe the meditation. But I think that's the most important thing. I think we can listen to endless videos sort of about the concepts of emotional triggers of spiritual development, but actually doing the practice is sometimes where we fall short because it's actually hard to sit with ourselves. So I will talk about emotional triggers the way I have discovered it and experienced it in my own body and how I talk about it in the book. And we'll see how much that resonates with you. I think of us as energy. So when we think of an emotional trigger, we think about energy that is contracting. So ideally, we are expansive and open and soft in our bodies at all time because then energy, prana, life force can freely flow through the body. But the moment we contract, then something is stuck. It's a little bit like acupuncture. Those of you that might be familiar with acupuncture, where you get ill in areas where energy is not flowing because something is tense and tight. And then with precise little needle, you can help it flow again. So, but instead of inserting needles, we're going to insert love. But first we want to understand when we're triggered, what is it actually that's happening in the body? So someone says or does something, and there's what feels, at least in hindsight, an overreaction that's happening. The moment something inside the body contracts, we're now back in old territory. We're back in the experience of when that trigger was originally put in place. And that was often a time when we were really, really young. So many of you may have experienced being triggered, and at least looking back on it can see, wow, I kind of acted like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old or not a very mature person. I came from a place of survival instead of coming from my more higher self. So if we think of our body the way we do in yoga as a vessel for our spirit, our breath, the word for breath and spirit is the same in my native tongue. So the idea is that the spirit fills the vessel of the body, and here we are fully embodied, ready to give the world light and ready to be in exchange. The moment we contract in a trigger, we kind of choke off part of that spirit, and what's left is kind of like a little child home alone that doesn't have access to the mothership, doesn't have access to knowing that she's still loved and safe. She feels completely alone in that moment. She feels unloved, she feels unsafe, and she feels like she doesn't belong. And those are qualities of just about every trigger I have worked with in myself and with hundreds of clients and students. That feeling of not being safe and loved and belonging. And what do we do then? So in the book, I describe it as we do one of 3 outs. We tend to either lash out, we tend to lash out at someone else, it's their fault somehow. And we're trying to get them to understand that they have to treat us differently because we don't want to feel this way. And we attribute how we feel to how they treat us. Now, that doesn't mean that someone not treating us with love isn't, a problem and unkind. But the way we take it on the inside is that contraction that's actually old and from a prior experience, that is already in there and really just waiting to be prodded, if you will, activated by someone else. So the lashing out doesn't work. And how many of you have attempted to lash out at someone else and read them their rights and given them a manual for how they ought to treat you? And how often has that worked? In my experience, it actually has never worked to try and dictate how someone else must treat me so I can feel okay. Yes, and that's the second one, Chandra. I'm not sure I'm reading the name right, but yeah, the numbing out, that's the second out I speak about, is having a drink, having some sugar, purchasing something, smoking something, anything. And I would say when I first started writing this book, scrolling wasn't as much of a thing. But during COVID, I think all of us started using even scrolling on our phones as another way of numbing out. So that's another one to keep an eye out for. Now, keeping an eye out for how we numb out is different from shaming ourselves for it. And that's so many of our outs. There's immediately a sense of shame that we go to that numbing agent. Instead, please think of whatever your numbing agent is. And I think it's important to identify what it is that we do when we suddenly find ourselves with an extra glass of wine or ice cream or laying on our bed scrolling, like, okay, I am doing this because something is happening in my body that's too hard to feel, because we really haven't learned how to feel it. Now, let me just mention the third out again, in addition to the first two outs. The third out is, I call it checking out. And that's, in a way, the trickier one, because it's like you become very rational. You become kind of stuck in your intellect. You can even be a little bit superior to the person who's acting out and lashing out. But it's still a coping strategy. It's still born out of a contraction inside the body, a trigger that's been activated. And now that's just become the go-to. So whether you lash out, numb out, or check out, they're all coping strategies to not feel. Now, the way we'll do it tonight is we'll go in. Now, just going in and of itself is going to be too awful, right? Something is contracted, and the moment we sort of focus on it, it's just going to feel worse for a moment. So why would we want to do that? No, we go in to it with love. Well, what is love? So we say, I love you, I love you, I'll see you on Monday, I love ice cream. But what is love really? If you think about the times when you felt love, it's when someone is fully present with you. I'm here. I love you and I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be right here with you. I've got you. I want to feel this with you. Right? That is ideally how a parent would handle a child's pain. Most of us did not get to experience that consistently. So we haven't been taught how to do that. We may even have experienced, oh, you're in pain, here's a lollipop, or you're in pain, here's a movie, or somehow try to distract the child away from being in pain instead of saying, you're scared, let me hold you. I'm right here. This is what we do when we're scared. We just become really present with it. And that's when it starts to melt. So you can think of a triggered feeling as a frozen emotion. It's frozen in time. It's tight and it's tense. And the more tight and the more tense, the bigger the out when it does get triggered. Now, what melts something frozen? Warmth and love. So we tap into our own inner capacity, and we all have that, the capacity for deep loving presence, the kind that we would instantly give a child if we're healthy. If we saw a scared child, we would, I'm here. So it is learning to do that with ourselves. And that's what I want to do with you guys tonight more than anything. So I'm just going to laying the groundwork for, first of all, normalizing triggers, which honestly is another way of saying anxiety, which is another way of saying fear. It's anything that's contracted instead of expansive. And I want to take any shame around that completely out of the equation, just like you wouldn't, ideally, again, if you're a healthy parent, not shame your child for being scared, and instead saying, let me hold you, you're safe, I've got you. So we're going to be doing that tonight. Yeah. Any questions about this? Anything coming up for any of you as I'm speaking about this? Okay. I hope that you know that this is a human condition. It is not like some people have triggers and some people have overcome them. I have worked with mine in a very conscious way for a very long time. I got into this work when I was 19 and I just turned 55. And I still can't say that I'm trigger free, but I can say that I now see a trigger as an opportunity to love myself. It is as though a trigger is Pandora's box is open, something old that needs love and holding is now available to me. Much of the time, the pain that is stuffed so deep inside, we don't even have access to it. Yeah? Any precautions to doing this work? I believe, and I want you to simply do it one step at a time. At any time you can get up and go for a walk or turn this off, but I'm not doing anything other than guiding you with love into your body to find the places that are contracted and holding them in this field of presence that we're setting together. So in my experience, might there sometimes be tears when we find a scared childlike energy inside that has been waiting to be held for 50 years? Yes, there might be tears. The way we don't re-trigger that pain, and this is an important distinction that I'd love to hear what you have to say about that, is there's sort of two ways. When you feel something painful inside, you can simply feel the contracted pain inside and hold it. No words necessary. I'm right here. I've got you. If you want to tell me about something that happened, I'm right here. But if you go into a story about what it means, no one is ever going to love me. I'm always going to be sad and alone. It's never going to work out for me. Can you hear how that's a story? And that's different from there's pain here that's contracted. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to be with it. Let's see what is being said here. Gabor Mate at 80 plus still gets triggered. Yes, I know. I love Gabor Mate. He's so honest and vulnerable. And I think that is such an important thing. I have a client who's in her 80s as well, has worked as a psychologist her whole life. And she shared with me, same thing. Got triggered on Christmas Eve with some friends she was spending it with, and it took her until she got home on the next day to process through it. So this process is not one of becoming, checked out. I'm not feeling anything anymore. I'm just going to walk through life and not feel a thing. No, it's a process of becoming so united with and so more and more instantly willing to take all of your loving presence and apply it to yourself, especially the places that hurt. Yeah? Let's see what else is being said here. Body send, other body receive, send back to body. That's how triggers work. Try to stop wanting anything. So I think it's human nature to, when we're in pain, to want love. It is just that in the contracted state, we forget that we are love, that in our heart space lives the light that gives us life. And that life, that higher self part of ourself, the eternal part of ourselves that is presently embodied, is here to love the wounded part of ourselves. So that's another way to think about this, that there's sort of two human aspects to each of us. One is very bound up in feeling separate and feeling like there's just me, I'm this Maria character, and I have this particular life, and here's what I do. And then there's the infinite, eternal, higher self part of Maria that is far wiser and more connected, that can hold and merge with more and more the wounded Maria, so that layer by layer, wounded wounded Maria starts to heal and let go of contraction after contraction and becoming more and more expansive. Okay, so that's really all I want to say. Unless there are like direct questions to that or comments to that, then I would love to just move into the practice part, because I think that's the most important part of it all. Okay, so sit upright if you can, but it is, past 7 o'clock. It's pitch dark outside, at least where I am. So you could also lie down and be cozy with yourself if that feels more loving, just letting your hands kind of rest on your heart. Let's do that. And then close your eyes. We're going to come inwards. Let this bell be a call from your heart space, from your inner sanctuary. And shift your attention from the mind, even from all the words I've just uttered, and simply be with your breath. Notice the way your breath feels inside your nose. And then let your breath deepen a little bit. So as you inhale, draw breath in deeply. And as you exhale, really let go. Inhale deeper. And exhale longer. And with every exhale, allow some tension to simply seep out of the body. You might even be able to hear your own breath inside your ear. The sound of the inhale and the sound of the exhale. And gently inwardly say to yourself, from your breath spirit part to your bodily self, I am on the inhale, here now. And if at any point as I'm guiding here, you get the urge to yawn, that's a very important indicator that there is some kind of stuck energy that's starting to come to the surface, and that you can then release it through a yawn. Sighing out loud. I can't hear you, so there's no microphone that's gonna like interrupt if you yawn out big. Simply be in this field of presence that we're creating together from all over the world, just being here with each other in this moment, breathing in and breathing out. I am here now. Now continue this gentle awareness of the breath, and then draw awareness into the heart center. Notice how the heart space feels. Might you be able to soften around the chest, upper chest, right side, left side, and visualize light inside the chest. Like a radiant, warm light that's filling the chest cavity, imbuing the physical heart, gradually taking up more space, widening, broadening the heart space as contractions gradually yield to this inner light, opening up like a flower in sunshine, opening its petals up. Soft, sweet heart. And let the little mantra roll through you. I am here now. And now as the light grows stronger in the heart, as we create more space to hold light inside, Let this light gradually expand from the heart space with effortless rays, rivers of light, permeating into the head, neck, and shoulders, filling the head, bathing the brain in light, expanding down through the arms, out into the fingers, palm of the hands, radiating with light, and the lungs, the stomach, solar plexus, gradually filling the torso, the belly, the abdomen, the colon, the abdominal organs, the pelvis, the genitalia, the hips and the thighs, the knees, the lower legs, shin bones and calf muscles, the heels, the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, all 10 toes illuminated. The whole of the body, a radiant vessel of light, expanding, bathing every cell of the body in light. And now feel and sense the whole of the body receiving this light. Let the body say to the light, I open myself up to this divine light within me, to fill me, to expand within me, to repair and restore me. And let the light say to the body, I am here, I love you, I've got you, I'm with you, I love you, I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here with you, to stay, to be with you, to feel you. And now sense and feel the whole energy field of the body, illuminated. And in this illumination, it might become apparent if there is an area in the body that has a little contraction going on, that is not having an easy time fully releasing. If you can easily touch the place that's contracted, maybe throat, heart, solar plexus, abdomen, upper or lower, or simply send that area a little extra love. And say inwardly to yourself, acknowledge, just like you would acknowledge on a sweet little kid, I see that boo-boo. That looks owie. Use gentle words with yourself as you acknowledge, I feel this. I'm aware that I carry this in my body, and I'm willing to be with it in love. Now bring all this light that you have inside your body, that you have just intensified in your body, bring a whole ball of that light to bear right around this contracted area in your body. Like bringing warm sunlight to an ice cube or butter straight out of the freezer that you're now gradually melting. Energy that's been held in a pattern, slowly softening, releasing a bit. Keep noticing if there's yawning that wants to happen. Breathe into the area, send it love. Again, if it feels natural to place your hand over it, say like you would to your best of friends, to your kid, to your favorite pet, anyone that you can think of where love just flows easily. use that level of presence and love and say again, I'm here. I love you. I've got you. I'm right here with you. It's all right. I'll be with you as we send even more presence to this place within. Maybe this place reminds you of something that's going on in your life. Maybe this place reminds you of something that's old. Let those little images arise without attaching to them, simply acknowledging, yeah, that situation is triggering this feeling. Yeah, this feeling reminds me of this other thing that happened. Let those little images come, but don't let a story form about it. Just the body. Just the felt sense in the body and loving light holding this place, loving this place. Bring even more loving presence to this. Treat this place inside as you would the dearest little hurt 2-year-old that you have the power to heal right now by sending so much love into them. I'm here. You're not alone anymore. I've got you. I'm sorry for all the times I just lashed out and numbed out and got all in my head so as not to be with you or feel you. I didn't know how to do this yet. Now I'm going to come in. When you call, I'm coming in. You're not alone in that dark room. I've got you. Let this place inside feel the truth of this love, the intensity of this love, the heart behind this love. And let this place within say, I open myself to this love. Maybe it's a little bitty voice that hardly dares to believe that love has arrived, that love is really here. It's okay to practice saying it. I open myself to this love. I let myself be held by this love. And say once more, from the perspective of your highest self, that you are so in touch with right now, I love you. The more you relax, the more I can enter. The more I can immerse you in my love. Let the two really come together. Let the hurt, tight place within allow itself fully now to relax and release into these arms of love. Visualize the light penetrating. Notice what's happening in the energy, in the body. Is something shifting? Is this contracted area softening a little? Is it getting worse? Is it able to receive this love? Breathe into it. Take a deep breath. Yawn if you can. Sigh out loud. Breathe into it. Just the body. Just let the body feel right now this deep love that is who you are. That same love that you have offered so many times to other people. Let that now be given to that little kid inside. Now notice and scan your body. See if any habitual tension has crept into the shoulders or the belly. And let another wave of releasing and softening move through the body. I relax my tummy. I soften my belly. I release around my shoulders and my jaw. I am here now. I am fully in myself. I am willing to be me. I am willing to fully embody myself and be with myself no matter what pain arises. I will not abandon myself. I forgive myself for all the times I have resorted to an out. And now the practice from now on is to go in with love, with loving words, with loving energy, with loving hands. Now I'm going to give yourself a moment to speak this to yourself, whether you do it outwardly or inwardly. What are the words that this place inside longs to hear? And there's so much emotion moving in this field between us now. So much tenderness and relief that this love exists and can be given and can be received inwardly. Now I invite you to put both hands on your body in a gesture of appreciation for the journey that you have endured, for the pain that you have endured, for all the times when you didn't know better than to numb out or lash out. I forgive myself for that. I didn't know how to love myself because no one taught me. But that stops today. I commit myself to myself. The commitment I looked for out there, I am giving to myself now, today. I commit to loving me. I commit to being there for me. I commit to being the very partner I looked for out there to myself. And from a place of true commitment and love toward myself, for myself, I'm going to be able to love authentically in a whole new way. Now let your awareness again expand to the whole of the body. Really sense and feel your hands, your feet, your arms and your legs, your head, neck, and torso, your beautiful heart space. Might feel a little tender. If it's been guarded for a long time, it can feel a little unexposed to be open in the heart space. But there's room for so much more love when the heart space stays open. I am here now with myself, for myself, in myself. Divine light is in me and with me at all times. And now open your eyes. And before you start looking at the screen, see if you can stay this present with the sensations in your body, with the tenderness in your heart, with any memories that may have risen to the surface as you opened up this clenched fist. And then look around your room. Let yourself get grounded into the space you're in. And express some gratitude to yourself for this love, for the willingness to feel, for the willingness to come back in, to come back home, to not abandon anymore the part of you that needs you the very most. Stay with sensations in the body and the breath, and then slowly return to the screen, to Maria, to all the people from many places. We have 92 people here. And give me some comments here. How does this feel? How are you feeling in your body? How did it feel to speak to yourself with so much love? Angel is saying lighter and sad. Yes, I understand. And in my own experience, I think we carry a lot of sadness that we refuse to feel much of the time. So when we go in, it's on one hand a relief to finally unite with ourselves, and on the other hand, we have to feel the sadness we haven't felt. And Meg is saying, I honestly feel angry, like I don't know what to do with the physical energy. It's an ongoing practice of loving on the energy, Meg. And I understand I have sat with some really hefty energy in my own body. And in my practice, and you can see if this works for you, I continue to say, divine love, please saturate this place. Please hold this place. I need help. And it's essentially the divine essence in myself that I'm invoking to bring to this denseness. Ellen says, I feel foreign, strange, hard. How so, Ellen? Say a little bit more about the strange and hard and foreign. And Chandra, I'm not sure I'm saying that right. I feel better, but my Yim critics keep saying this was corny. My inner child cried. Yeah. I get that a lot, that it can feel a little cringe to say all that love. But isn't that kind of sad that it feels cringe to say, I love you, I'm here, I've got you for yourself? And she says, wow, I really got in touch with what was ailing my neck and stopped the story and just was there and sent myself love in that past moment. That's beautiful. And I mean, to this day, and I wrote the book, when I sit with myself, and I have to do it daily. I mean, this is not like I did it and now I'm living this new life without having to do this. It's like, no, I'm committed, like a really committed partner or parent to being with myself. And I sit and I send myself love to those places every day. Lee says, I feel physically tingling in hands and feet, emotionally sad, grateful, and relief. Yeah, that's all. I recognize all of that, Lee. And the tingling, now this was a brief little practice. If you want to come and practice with me in a more dedicated, immersed way, I do 6-week courses in this. But even a little practice like we just did together in this sort of relatively short amount of time, you're bringing more presence to your body, and it feels exactly like that tingling. It gets deeper and deeper. It's this Yeah, almost blissful tingling feeling. And and I think it's again sadness. Yes, we stuff so much. We stuff so much. I think that there's a lot of uncried tears in all of us. Um, and Chandra says, my inner teen critic are rolling their eyes. They need healing. How do we help them? Um, it's okay to roll your eyes. I know this is a little funny. Can I just hold you? Even though you roll your eyes, I'll just hug you, you know? Think about how you would talk to a teenager. Um, Ellen says it's foreign to be the wise one, the parent to my inner child. Right. I think the wise one, if you will, you could also talk about as being the witness. That part of us, you could think of the wise one as the one, if a friend was falling apart or having a meltdown, or a kid was having a meltdown, you would become the wise one and say, it's going to be okay. I'm right here. I'm not leaving. It's okay. We step into that role. So we know what that feels like. We might just not be used to doing that to ourselves when we're upset. So it's a little bit like keeping a little part of ourselves above water. So part of us might get flooded by sadness and fear and all of those contracted feelings, but another part of us can say, I'm here. I'm bringing light to you now. I've got you. It's going to be okay. I know you're sad. I know you're scared. Chandra says, I was a teen drug addict and a street kid. My mom died when I was 12 and I was homeless until I was 18. I mean, that is tough. That is super tough. So my heart goes out to you and thank you for sharing that. And the fact that you're here today and stay till the end even means that there is an opening to these presencing practices, that in some weird way, the hardship that we endure is so often also the door into the practices that heal us on a much deeper level. It's so often the people who've had the hardest lives who choose to stick with these practices that actually open us up to our own divine inner space, if you will. Yeah. Any other comments? Let me tell me more about how this felt in your body. And I think it's important to say that we tend to get attracted into, it's not recorded on Insight Timer. I do my own recording on my phone so that I can share it as a podcast after the fact. So look at mariatoso.com, and I will have this as a recording, but for some reason Insight Timer doesn't, to my knowledge, record it. So you will have access to it. And I have other resources also right here on the Insight Timer platform. If you go under Maria Toso, there's a practice called the Heal What Hurts meditation, which is a longer version of what we just did. And that's a really nice place to start doing something gently on a more consistent basis. If we practice something like this, consistently, then when we do get triggered, it's like we've saved up some witnessing, presencing power, and we're less likely to get flooded. So anytime we can do any kind of mindfulness practice, it doesn't have to be my practices, but it can be any kind of embodiment practices. You could say there's sort of two schools of meditation, the one that makes you really embodied and the one that kind of takes you out of your body and into the cosmos. And I would very much say, though I've done both, that the one, thank you, Julie, for your donation. I really appreciate that. The practices that take us into our body to really feel, that is where the energy gets transformed. And I understand that feeling that, oh, this energy is here, I don't know what to do with it. I promise you that if you stick with sending in love and prayerfully ask the divine light within you to hold that energy in the body, it does start to melt. It literally is like taking an ice cube at whatever size and putting it out in sunshine. You know, it's not going to melt in 10 minutes, but over time, with enough love, ice does melt. And the loving presence is the medicine for everything, right? Love is the medicine. Good. Well, that's what I got for you today. I'm going to do this again on Tuesday. No, wait, Wednesday of next week, the 14th, but at noon. So I'm doing one over the lunch hour, Central Standard Time, noon. So you could come back here and do another similar practice. And you can, of course, also look me up as a teacher, Maria Toso, and find my meditation practices. So any last comments? I would love to hear from you. And like Julie, if you feel called to donate, you're very welcome. You're also very welcome simply to receive. This is also my service to get this work out here for as many people as possible. And you could, of course, also continue with the book. That's a simple way to do this work on your own. Heal What Hurts. Good. All right. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was a pleasure to be with you. I could feel the field of presence that we did together. Agota, I'm not sure I'm saying it right. Amazing session. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. Come back and see me. I will be doing more lives on here. It's a nice format, and it's a nice way to reach some of my, I have so many followers now doing my meditations on Insight Timer that I never get to be in touch with. So this will be a way for us to have a little time together. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, bye. Blessings to you, Pam.